We've read about it in textbooks. The Boston Tea Party, a defiant protest where American colonists dumped British tea into Boston Harbor, sparking a revolution. But what really happened that night in 1773? One, it was well organized. The men split into 3 groups. 2 boarded the ships and 1 stood guard. Many dressed as Mohawk or Narragansett people to conceal their identities. But this display sent a contradictory message, paying homage to and exploiting nearby indigenous communities. Once aboard, they destroyed 342 chests of tea and dumped them overboard, leaving the other cargo untouched. 2. The tax issue had been brewing for years. Other taxes passed by Parliament had already ruffled colonial feathers. The Stamp Act taxed British paper goods. The Townshend Acts added paint, glass, lead, porcelain, and, that's right, tea to the list. Citizens of the 13 colonies had no voice in Parliament and grew angry about their taxation without representation. 3. The protest was against lower taxes on tea, not higher ones. To avoid paying the tax on British tea, colonists turned to smuggled Dutch tea. So, to compete with the black market, Parliament lowered taxes on British tea. Colonists saw this as a sneaky tactic to make the tax more palatable, not a real solution. When British East India Company tea ships arrived in Boston, the first response wasn't violence. It was debate. Up to 6,000 people gathered at the Old South Meeting House. They agreed, block the ships from unloading, and send them home without paying a dime. But the Massachusetts governor disagreed. So the colonists took action. 4. Not everyone approved of the protest. George Washington and Benjamin Franklin denounced it. Many Americans feared it made the colonies appear lawless, inviting harsher British control. And number 5, it sparked something bigger. In response, Britain struck back with the Coercive Acts, punishing Boston and restructuring the Massachusetts government in the Crown's favor. This angered the colonies, prompting the First Continental Congress, a meeting of delegates from each colony to discuss a collective response to the British. Despite attempts to de-escalate the conflict, revolution was no longer a question of if, but when. The Boston Tea Party wasn't the start of the American Revolution, but it was a major turning point. It was a test of colonial mettle and planted the seeds of American democracy.